got me on ready, set, go.
What up, though? What up, though? This is the inaugural of Don't Die Without Living podcast, man. I'm so excited that y'all tuned in to check this out. Got some good people tonight with me. We're going to be kicking it. Got my man Jelly over here, man. He getting ready to lay it down. This is an East Side legend. Y'all better understand who's sitting over here to my right. Jelly Roll.
What up, though? The original.
Got my man over here, Dwayne Maiden, man. You know, one of the singingest brothers I've ever known in my life, man. And we've been down, man, since we was teenagers, man. My man Wayne with me tonight, Dwayne Maiden.
What's up, my people?
And, of course, CT3 in the house. My namesake, my young buck, Charles Thomas III. How you feeling tonight, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
Let's good. Good. He's so cool and sexy, man. I don't know what the hell to do with it. But we want to get into a kind of little serious topic tonight when we talk about YNs. This YN thing has got to go, man. It's outrageous. I mean, not only do you have these young cats, calling each other YN, but you got older people, older brothers referring to them as YN, and now they acting out. They acting just like young ignorant niggas. You can't go nowhere. I was looking at a video the other day, Jelly, and some guy was videoing his friends. 3 or 4 of them just jumped out the car and just started jumping on the cat, stomping him out, and he jumping out with the video and laughing it. And all the whole time he look, my young niggas out here, man, we in Cleveland, my young niggas out here clowning. Look how they clowning on my man. I don't know if they knew the guy. I don't know if it was an issue. But the fact that he's laughing and this dude is getting stomped out is, what the hell are we doing, man? What are we doing right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, but one of the reasons is I feel, Chuck, man, is the fact that, man, we losing the generations because some of them have a lack of a father in the home.
Mm-hmm.
To teach us the moral values, and even the fathers don't even know morals and values because they didn't have their father. So I think it's just like a thing that a cycle that we continue to go through. I didn't have a father, and this is the way I act out, and then I teach that to my son, and it goes on with a cycle. So my thing is, when do we break the cycle? Yeah. How do we address the cycle?
But we have the ability to cancel the curse.
That
we have the ability to cancel the curse. I mean, there was things about my dad, that, he told me, you're going to see stuff that you don't like. You're going to see stuff that I like. He referred it to, he was sitting on the porch eating a piece of chicken. He said, what is this? I said, chicken. He said, you see me eating the meat? I said, yeah. He said, I'm getting rid of the bones. He said, this is my life. I'm telling you, this is my life. You're going to see things about me that's good, that you like, that's right. He said, that's the meat. He said, but then you're going to see things about me you don't like, that's wrong, that you know is wrong. That's the bones. He said, you don't eat the bones. You don't see me eating the bones, do you? Right. I said, no. He said, so this is my life. I need you to take that with you, and I have. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that my dad did that I don't do. There's a lot of things that my dad did and said that I do, because meat and bones were 2 different things. So, I mean, you make a valid point with it, as far as the male not being in the home. But, I mean, that's a long conversation from going back to, when the government and the state, took the black man out of the home, with welfare.
This is true.
And I remember growing up, and, my brother Greg, he was 6'4", and they came into my mother's house and talked about cutting her off of welfare because they saw my brother's clothes hanging in the closet. They thought it was a man's. And y'all would own him that bad about having a man in the house with his family that y'all gonna cut her off because her son's 6'4". She had to wait till he came home from school. They sat there and waited too, till he came home to school to see how tall he was.
By design, to destroy the fabric of the family.
Brother, yeah. That's where all of this began to come in. When the state started jumping in, trying to say what you couldn't do to your kid. You can't whoop them. Because we don't whoop our kids, we don't want you whooping your kids. But they don't understand. Somebody gonna get their ass whooped. Yeah, if you ain't whooping them, they gonna be whooping you. They gonna be whooping the society. They gonna be whooping the teachers. Somebody's gonna get the whooping.
that didn't happen in Jackie Maiden's house.
No,
You know that. You know, and my mom had to play the mom and the dad. You know, my father wasn't available. You know, my brothers, they was out hanging in the street doing their thing. You know, the only role model that I ever had was what I saw the cats, the YN back in my day doing in the streets. But the thing about that is I just didn't have a desire to be like them. You know, people like yourself and other cats that I got involved with just would not let the streets be a part of my life, you know. But, you know, with my mom didn't care what the people said. I couldn't whoop the kids. I remember an episode when I found out that my mom couldn't whoop me. I called the people on my mom because she was getting ready to beat me. When they got there, she beat me to a pulp, you know, and told them, now that I beat him, you can take him with him, you take care of him. And then when the social worker said, I don't see nothing going on and everything is fine, you know, after the social worker work, she beat me again. You know, so we live in a day where beating kids are just not going to be the answer. It's just not going to be the answer. We have to find a way to address these young guys. And I think one of the greatest things that you have done, even with the Don't Die Without Living, is introducing CT3, who can reach them better than you can. Absolutely. You know, Chuck can reach them a little bit better than you can because he's on that level, you know, where they think we don't understand. We've been down that road. We've been in that same spot you've been. The only thing the difference with us is that we didn't jump out cars and beat people down unless we had a reason to beat people down. We just didn't get out of the car and beat people down. That's just not what we did. You know, so I think introducing Chuck into this realm of your mindset, your perception of how to save our young men, I thought that was a great thing that you did by introducing your son to reach that generation that we can reach.
Yeah. Before we started rolling, I was just telling Chuck, I said, man, your generation needs you so bad, man.
So bad.
Ain't even stand in the middle of 7 Mile and grass you.
Man, yeah,
And just give it to them, man, because they trying to find out where they belong.
Absolutely.
You know, and they wearing that YN title as a badge of honor.
Right.
You know, they don't know no other. They hear it on the radio. They hearing it everywhere. And then when you have what they call us OGs, referring to them as that, they really using it. Oh, that's
right.
You know, that's me. I'm a YN. Right. You know.
Yeah, I think also, you know, not to get too deep, but I think that as far as them embracing the YN thing, I think it's just because, you know, that's what everybody calls them. As far as, like, you know, even if it was started by YNs, like the old people went along and started calling them YNs too, or the OGs called them YNs, big bros like, oh, y'all the YNs. You know, just like how back in the day, the label crack babies. You know, the adults was like, yeah, I'm a crack baby, you know, 80s baby, like all that. So even the word nigga that was used isn't a derogatory negative term, and we flipped that to something different, right?
Yeah.
So I think with the YNs, it's kind of like, they just like, if that's what they call us, that's what we gonna be, right? So it's 90 degrees outside. I got my shiesty and my hoodie on. Even if I'm not in here to do nothing, I'm looking like I am.
Hey, man, I was looking the other day coming from the office, and it was 4 cats. This is, I think it might have been 87 degrees outside. All of them got on hoodies. All of them got on ski masks with the hood on, walking through the alley in East Point. Now, that don't just automatically say you're doing something, you up to something.
Right.
But I be damned if everybody that see them don't think, what the hell they coming for? What they looking for?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you go to address just their image, you almost got to kill them.
That's right.
You know, I'm doing me and all of that ignorance, and, you know, ain't nobody going to say nothing to me and that type of stuff. You know, the approach is just, and I keep saying it because it leads back to enabling what parents allowed to happen. When it was cute when he was saying bitch at 2. But now he's 13 calling you bitch, and now you saying the house is on fire, help. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's when everything, because now if I can call you that, what you think I'm going to call the teacher when I get there?
That's right.
What you think I'm going to tell the principal when he tell me to sit down and shut up? No, I mean, I don't listen to her. and I ain't seen him. So, I'm definitely, it's a situation where, and that's what I love about results mentoring. Shout out to results mentoring. I saw that commercial Wayne done where the smoke and the fire and the screaming and everything and everybody running out and you see the Marines running in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do in their results. Those ones that you think, man, they pants sagging, they smelling like weed, and you got his ear all frowned up. I'm not going over there. I'm not saying nothing to him. That's who we called to. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because he looks threatening. It was the same situation with me. Man, I was the worst thing ever happened to a school. Kicked out of all Detroit public schools at the age of 15. Troublemaker, full of anger. Mother and father had separated. I wanted to destroy the world. I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about nobody being happy, especially my mother. She had started dating somebody else, man. I wanted to train wreck that thing. And what I called myself doing was, I'm just going to get suspended every time I walk in there so I can be there, and they ain't going to be able to do nothing because I'm at home. I was in middle school thinking like that. So when I walked into the classroom and the teacher told me, Mr. Thomas, where your pencil at? I said, I ain't got no pencil. She's like, you unprepared. And I said, you unprepared. And what did you say? And I repeated it loud because I was prepared for whatever they were going to do. I didn't care because what I was really pissed about had nothing to do with school. It was coming from home. And that's what most kids are dealing with. They struggling with what's coming from home. Me and Will, Jeffrey Williams, worked at Detroit Community High School. What we did every year was we would take the teachers on a bus and we would take them out on a professional development to ride through the neighborhoods to show them what the kids have to walk through just to come here. Bums on the street. Guy just sitting in his car with his car idly driving, sitting in the middle of the street or at the corner, and these girls got to walk past him by themselves. This is all the risk that they're making just to come there. So we were telling them about being insensitive when they walk in the building. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The first thing you thinking is, why you late to my class? Or why ain't you prepared? Where's your pencil? Where's your book at? And then you want to, hey, go get out of my class, go down to the office and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted them to see firsthand what they dealing with just to get in the building. They ain't ate nothing. So they coming in there hungry. They coming in there frustrated. They coming in there scared because they exhaling because they made it without anything happening, without somebody snatching them up, without somebody pulling them off in the alley. So we would take them on that trip to ride them around so that they could see exactly what these kids are walking through to get there. And every time, and I believe you not, every time the bus stopped at the school, it wasn't a dry eye on there. Because they never thought about it. They like, oh, hell, look at all these burned down houses. They got to walk past that by herself? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we do so well also at Results Mentoring is we teaching them instead of judging.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the teachers, parents, and the unks or the OGs, they just preaching to them. And even when y'all was younger and when I was younger, I didn't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you not carrying this how I'm carrying it. You don't know what I'm going through, so you just telling me something because that's your life. That ain't my life. And I think that when, like you said, you getting kicked out of school and being a troublemaker and me struggling through school and getting in trouble and getting in fights in college and stuff like that, I know you when I speak to you.
Right.
So when you tell me the teacher don't like you, I know they don't. Fucking their day up every day you go in there.
Right. They hate to see you coming down the hall.
What you're thinking is true. They don't like you, but they don't like you for a reason.
Right.
So when we do our character over reputation and tell them this is your reputation and this is who you think you are, this is what they see. They only see the young nigga. Yeah. They only see the YN. They don't see the smart kid that you telling me you know you can be. And I think we just got to do a better job of more of people like with our story.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be the one to say it. Yeah. Because it's different when somebody come to the assembly wearing a suit and he telling me what I need to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tuning him out.
Yeah.
But somebody come in there that I like, some nice clothes, some shoes I like, some chain on.
That's right.
He got my eye.
That's right.
Cause that's all they look for any rappers and
That's
the
right.
entertainers and all that.
That's true.
If you bring Sada Baby in there and he talk to them, they gonna listen to that more than the doctor that come in, because I actually see myself in you. Some people get too good or too big and forget where they came from, and they just think because I came from here, you're supposed to respect that, but I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to. So when you come in there with an open ear instead of just talking, I think that's how you reach through to them. That's how we reach through to them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's go ahead.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about that, and that's true. But we have to learn how, even in our success, we still got to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
When we're dealing with people, we're trying to bring us to the level of where we at.
Absolutely.
Even when you're dealing with young guys, and I hear what you say about the suit and then the young baby, whatever, the different cultures of that, what people gravitate to. When I was in school, I'm like Chuck, I was hell on teachers. I was just hell on everybody. But I knew if I didn't get the grades, I was getting beat when I got home. Mm-hmm. Although I was hell on folks, I was acting out because I was missing something at home. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these kids are acting out because they're missing something at home. Mm-hmm. They're not getting something from at home. Mom is working, trying to take care of everybody. Nobody's there. You stepped in the role of raising your brothers and sisters and your child yourself.
Right.
So now when I get of age and ready to go out there on my own, I don't hear what nobody got to say. I done played daddy and big brother, big sister. I want to do whatever I want to do. I think this young generation is just persuaded by what they see and what they don't know. If they knew more, they wouldn't be persuaded by what they see. My question is, by you being an educator, Chuck, you have to working with a mentor, how do we get the young fellas, not even a young fella, even OGs, how we get them to change their perception of what they see? Because everything, we're saying everything that shine ain't gold. Mm-hmm. Everything glitter ain't great. It ain't diamonds. So I think the perception, if we can change the mindset, not trying to introduce them to what we've been through down the road, and Chuck, right, down the road, what we've been through, yeah, that's what you went through, but you ain't carrying what I'm carrying. I don't know what my sons are carrying in this generation. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm carrying back. We know what we carried back in the 80s. What I was struggling with, I don't know what they're carrying. So the way I deal with my sons and how I deal with my sons, and I'm grateful to God that they didn't do the street life, because I told them, don't do what I did. Do better than what I do. And I gave them examples. Chuck done talked to a few of them. I gave them an example. He gave them an example of what you shouldn't do. We didn't tell them, and I always tell my kids, whatever decision you make, there's a consequence you got to deal with. Those are your decisions you make. I just think, my question by you being an educator is, how do we change the mindset and the perception of what they see? Because they see it all day long. They see the droopy pants, dudes on, even basketball stars on Instagram and TikTok with guns in their hand, and they millionaires.
And if I could, and I agree with what you're saying, Wayne. But Chuck made a great point. He said, you got these guys that's coming in, ain't never did nothing. Mm-hmm. You just coming in here to judge me. You tell me what I ain't doing right.
Right.
It takes guys like that's been in the trenches, mm-hmm. like me and Chuck, mm-hmm. and now we where we are.
Right.
And when you grab their attention to be able to give them some wisdom, mm-hmm. to change they thought, like, wow. I don't know how many times that it's been, and guys that came to me, guys like, oh man, I see you. Like, no man, this ain't, this. Right. You can be just like this. Right. But it's a certain road that you got to take. They know Jelly from back in the day. Mm-hmm. That was that older city blocks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But hey, just like you're not getting ready to tell me how to lose weight if you ain't never been fat.
See, come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, brother.
Don't come in here. You always been 120 pounds, right, telling me what you need to do. No, man, you ain't. Let's go
Right.
get this 2 for 2 on these waffles. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me. So that's what we got to do, man. It's just about bridging the gap. Like Chuck said, with the commercial with the Marines, everybody running out and them guys running in. Mm-hmm. We need more people to bridge the gap instead of judging these young men.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and just like you said, I think when we running in the fire, we knowing it's a fire, right?
Right.
So that first week, we might not get through to you. So that first week, we call it hell week. We killing you.
Yeah.
But that second week, it's gonna start to click. Now everything what we saying, because now you seeing it in that school. We telling you when you go back to that school, you're gonna start to lose friends. Mm-hmm. Now you being yourself. You've been another this whole time. The whole time. So now when they saying you acting different, you acting fake, you are, because you being yourself now.
Right.
And if they don't like him, then they shouldn't have never been around you anyways.
Right.
So when we going in there knowing that it's finna be, man, I hate this, and we tell the parents, they're gonna come home and tell you, I'm good, I don't want to go back. I'm never gonna get in trouble again. You gotta stick with this program because that's all fluff.
Yeah.
That's all noise.
Yeah. And what we teach in the program, and one of the main things is, and I do this in the interviews. My interviews I do like on a scared straight type because, I need them to know, I give them a glimpse of the street so you ain't have to get it. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is I ask them the biggest question in the world, who are you? They're like, I'm such. No, that's your name. Who are you? What do you know about you, man? And that's our whole thing is you got to learn to love the joker that's sitting in that chair. You got to know everything about him. What makes you smile, what makes you sad, what makes you laugh, what makes you happy, what makes you sick, you got to know everything about the joker that's sitting in that chair. And when you start identifying yourself, then you can start focus on what you want to be, what you want to do. Right. You can't do none of that until you realize who you are. And because you don't know who you are, you like a cloud. Every time the wind blow, it's dragging you somewhere. You following anything. Anything sounds good. That's why, I'm going to wear that, man. Why? That's what everybody else wearing. No identity. Don't know who the hell you are. Well, why did you do that? I talked to a boy, man. I was at the school, and they had a kid that I'm not even dealing with, had a tether on his leg. They in there. Fixing his tether up in the main office with his parole. I said, man, will y'all put that boy in a room somewhere? Why y'all got him out here in the open doing that? So they go in there, and then the PO like, hey, can you come in and talk to him for a minute? I go in there, he reeking of weed, tether on his leg, just feeling like, man, I'm so sick. He just looked at like he had just been woe out from the system. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what's the next move, whether it's death or prison. I don't care. That's his whole mindset. I don't care. I just get it over with, whichever one coming. Just get it over with. And I started kicking it with him. And I asked him, I said, listen, you ain't going to never be able to talk your way out of what you behaved your way into. You got to behave your way out, man. Mm-hmm. You can't tell nobody, yeah, you're right. I ain't going to do that no more. And then soon as pop up, bam. They like this. It ain't gonna never change. That ain't change. Change is you behaving your way out. You didn't learn to cuss overnight. You know what I'm saying? You probably did, Wayne. But everybody didn't learn to cuss overnight. Everybody wasn't gifted enough as you to learn to cuss overnight. You behaved into that. If you want to stop, you're going to have to behave out, meaning you're going to have to catch yourself every time. You have to stop and check that joker in that chair. It's called self-discipline, self-control. You're self-disciplined. You're disciplining yourself so don't nobody else have to. When I tell them kids, when I go to do the check-in at school, how's that thing going? I say, good. They be like, good. No issues, no issues. How you doing that? Oh, self-discipline, sir. So what do you mean by that? Oh, I'm checking myself. There you is now because we were wearing your ass out for the last 3 days, and you want that over with. But I don't want you not doing that so that you ain't have to do this. Yeah. You're doing that for you. That's our whole thing is we want change to happen for those students. So your question is legit. How do we do it? You first got to get them to know who they are. They got to.
And that's affirmation. So we got to get them to, and I believe affirmation starts at home. Really don't start out with the teachers and in the street and counselors. It starts at home. But if they're not getting affirmed at home, somebody in the street is affirming them, and that's what they gravitate to. Yeah. So, and you're right. And everything you said is absolutely correct. But
the truth of the matter is, all they really need is the nigga in that chair. Mm-hmm. All Absolutely. They need is commitment and dedication to themselves. I am not going to let this happen. I'm not hanging out over there with them no more.
You're right, sir.
I'm not doing that. Mom ain't got nothing to do with it. Results ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't doing this no more.
That's right.
And when they make that call, I ain't doing this no more, that's when you start seeing the change, behaving.
Yeah, because I also don't want to just put it on the environments, and that's why kids get in trouble, because I wasn't in that environment all the time. I was in a home with two parents. My dad ran the boot camp and the tutoring program, and I still was failing and getting in trouble. I still went to college getting in fights and getting kicked out of school and messing with different women and doing everything but going to class. So I had what these kids were killed for, and I still fucked it up. So a lot of it is just what you just said, though. You got to get them to believe in themselves, because I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do math. I'm helping kids with math now in school. I didn't think I was going to be able to graduate. I graduated in 2020. So it wasn't going to happen until I believed in myself, though, because my mom was a genius. Like I said, the tutoring program and all that, everything was around me. I just wasn't using it. And until I wanted to get it done, it was never going to get done. I still wouldn't have a degree today.
Yeah.
So how did you address that, though? I mean, although, your father and your mom, any kid would die to have what you have, like you said. How did you address that? All the stuff that your father said to you and your mom said to you, it just was not registered. What was the tilting point for you? Something you could say on this podcast that can help the next young fella that's watching. What was the tipping point that made you grasp all the things that your mom and your dad were saying to you over the years, and it finally clicked to you like that?
For me, honestly, it probably was my little brother kind of was going down the same track I was with the grades. And he was getting in trouble a lot, and he just was on the game. He wasn't really doing nothing. And I'm like getting on him, and we got into like an argument about it. And like I ended up putting him in a headlock, like I'm trying to choke him out or something. And I realized that was the first time I saw some anger in him. And I was like, but he not like me. He not getting in trouble in school. He just not working. And I'm like, but through high school, I was never getting good grades. So I know my dad is my example, and I'm his example being the older brother. And I set a f***ed up example the whole time for him. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to make it right. Also, I had this thing where I've said this to my wife before, but I felt like through high school I f***ed up. Then I went to college, f***ed up. I got into a relationship. I'm always f***ing up. The one thing I'm finna do, though, is I'm finna finish this because I know I can do it. And then I'm not gonna f*** this up because I f***ed everything up. I'm about to prove that I'm not a f***. So it was that, it was Isaiah, and it was just the fact that, my parents, they educated. I don't want to be the f*** up of the family, right? When we get Isaiah back in line, I don't want to be the one that's, the oldest one, up, right? Because if my parents knew everything that was going on up at Eastern, they'd have took me out after my freshman year just because I was getting into up there. But I didn't say nothing. My mentor had to call my dad to tell him he not doing well up here. They about to kick him out of here. And that's having a mentor in college, right? So I had people around me, but until I wanted to change, nothing was going to happen. And I think that when we reach out to I'm not calling them YNs, but when we reach out to the kids, we got to have patience with them because they're going to hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to put your faith into them, they're going to start doing good, and then they're going to revert back to the shit that they've been doing because they've been doing it for so long, right? And a lot of the time, that's when people be like, man, you ain't shit. You ain't going to be shit. And now that all that stuff start coming out, right? Now they like, you right. I ain't going to be shit. Now I'm starting to believe that I'm not. Now I'm just going to go full force on what I'm doing, right? I don't give a about nothing. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. So you got to be like, no, I'm not going to let you die.
Right.
I'm not going to let you kill yourself out here. And when they realize you give, even if mom, dad, nobody else gives what he do, then I need to start changing something. I need to start giving.
Sometimes you got to give for them
Right.
until they catch on. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with a boy today in the school, and he was talking about what he wasn't going to do and how he wasn't going to do this and how, ain't nobody going to tell me nothing, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And I was standing in the room with him, and he got his fist all balled up, and he was like, you can just get out of my way, man, because I said, look here, man, I ain't here for all of that, but if you that tough, go ahead and walk out this door past me. I mean, I hear all this woofing, and I hear all of that, but what I hear right in there is please don't give up on me, right? And I'm not. So you can calm all that down, sit down, and let's figure out why you got 4 Fs and 2 Cs. And you walking through here pissed off. Don't want, anybody to know you need help. Because the stigma of special ed, you don't want that connected to you. Special needs. Special needs don't always mean you got something wrong with you. You can't learn. You don't get it as fast as them. Don't mean you ain't gonna get it. You just need it broke down a little more for you. It's the stigma. And they are willing, because of their pride, to fail, to sit there and fail. Instead of saying, I don't get this. And I know you broke it down on the board twice, but I still didn't get it. But instead of saying, I still don't got it, you just, okay, I ain't gonna write nothing down. F. And then they're like, how you failing all these classes and you in school every day? And that's something I wanted to jump on too right quick with that, because the parents, and as parents, power of life and death is in the tongue. We have to be extremely cautious of what we say and how we say what we say to our kids, because they don't forget it. Well, if you see something powerful and a good statement, they remember it. Like I remember my dad's, favorite word is nice, to be nice. I remember that. That's beautiful. I remember the chicken bone and chicken story. I remember that type of stuff. But I also remember, going to 10 years old to tell my dad, ask my dad, why didn't he love me? And he got up and cussed me out. And I'm like, 10, wondering, what the hell was that? What did I do wrong? It was till my mother told me, you'll understand, your father came from a different era, et cetera. And then later that night, he came and told me, ain't you got food in there? Don't you have clothes on your back? Do you want for anything? Do you need anything? Don't I make that happen? That's me saying I love you. I don't have to tell you I love you. But my dad was born in 29.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So back then it was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That whole mindset was different. So we came up with, our mothers hugging us, and that's my baby, Jelly is my baby. And then you go over there to dad, hey, dad, get your ass. That's how we was.
That's right.
That's how we was raised.
Yeah.
Man, get away from here with that.
Yeah.
You like, man, he don't love me. It wasn't that he, they just felt like, come on now. That's not what men do. So what I did is I took a portion of my father, and what I liked about it, I did. What I didn't like about him, I didn't do. And then when I came into being the father myself, I wanted to perfect that. That's the one thing I wanted to be perfect. I try to be a great husband. I try to be a great mentor. I try to be a great friend. but I try to be as perfect of a father as I possibly can because God trusted me with them lives. You know, they didn't ask to be here. So that's why I always will tell them, my life belongs to you. Both of y'all, my life belongs to y'all. Y'all didn't ask to be here. I brought y'all here. So I have to be able to make provisions for y'all. I have to be able to leave a legacy for y'all. It is my job. God created me with men. He trusted me with the creating and raising of men. That's my job. So am I perfect with it? No. I get it wrong? Yeah. I mean, has my sons saw me in a bad position? Yeah, they have. Have they heard me say some things that was wrong? Yeah, they probably have. But I'm never gonna leave that house smoky without me coming in there and clearing up what I done.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm going backwards a little bit because Chuck said something. He was like, when I was in high school, I fucked up. When I was in college, I fucked up, and in his relationship. Well, the thing is DNA is undefeated. You know, I've been knowing your pops for a long time. You know, the grimy and the grit. You know, and I'm saying it to say, like you said my mom was genius. Well, you done live both sides, and that's the DNA. And it is so awesome that you said when Wayne asked you, well, what made you change? And you said, I looked at my little brother. You wanted to show him, give him a good example of, as you did, looking at your father. My son, my youngest son, Jared, he graduated from college 3 years ago. And just now I'm finding out about all the stuff that he did in college. He's speaking on it like it's cool. I'm like, hey, my man.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
Ain't no statute of limitations. No,
that's right.
For real.
No, I can't do it.
For real.
He's 225 and he's
Man.
6 feet. No, but he's saying, yeah, Dad, you know, I was doing this. And I'm like, where did this come from?
Bruh.
And then I thought about it. I told my wife a long time ago when he was in high school, we expecting for all of them to excel here. Honors and honor society and all of that. And I told her, I said, one day, I said, baby, how? Man, you wasn't on the honor society. Maybe we setting the bar too high. Let's find a different way of teaching and then bring out the best in them. And that's what we did, and that's how we have to do with. It's easy when we doing it for our kids, for the ones we love. But what about the ones that you've been put on assignment with, that ain't got your blood running through their veins? You know, and every now and again, and you know, you got to pick and choose. It's a judgment call on whatever you do when you consider OG. And they like the curb appeal. When you got the curb appeal, they going to listen to you. When you pulling up in the truck, when you pulling up and you got on the 11s, the Jordan 11s, and you wearing this and you wearing that, like Chuck said, they going to listen. They already interested. If they ain't trying to rob you, they want to get where you at. And that's when you grab them and you, my man, let me holler at you. Put your pants up, man. I got my mom and my auntie and my daughter with me.
Right.
And they going to listen to that. It can go either way with it.
Yeah.
You know, one, he might make, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, you might get that.
Yeah.
But that's a chance you taking.
Right.
You know, if you reach one.
But it's a worthy chance.
It's
worth it,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And that's why like I said, if you come in dressed like us, they're gonna listen to you. But they'll listen to the doctor too. You just gotta tap back into what you were when you were 15. Because you coming in here with Dr. Brain and all of that, and some of the kids is just gonna be looking at the clock, waiting on it to hit, knowing you finna stop talking in like 30 minutes. So
right.
Just get the fuck up out of here. But if you, but if you give them the real attention that they need, that same attention that you wished you had back then, then that it'll click through to who it needs to click through, because you can't save everybody.
Yeah.
But you can try to.
Yeah, you give it the valid effort, and excuse me, you give it the valid effort where, it's that was the hardest thing in mentoring kids, that it was for me to accept what you said, and I actually got it from my wife. I had a kid, man, that I was working with, and one minute I feel like he getting it, and then next minute, drift off, boom. I'm like, man, look, what is going on, man? He ended up doing 2 murders, going to prison. I came home, done, man. I'm like, oh God, man, was I not on him hard enough? Was I on him too hard? Was, I'm everything me, man. She just stopped and said, Chuck, and I said, what? And she's like, you ain't gonna save everybody. Man, that thing hit like a ton of bricks, dude. I mean, it literally brought me to tears with the fact that I'm not. Because I believe all of them are worthy of being saved. But what could I have done different? That's why I was just running down through. What could I have done? What if I didn't say? What if I did do? And you're not going to save all of them. And then I had to accept that. Did we get the 800 number on there so that they'll know if anybody have want to be able to call or something? It's going to be an 800 number that you guys will be able to reach out to Results Mentoring, and we can try to get you some help. And I want to thank, the squad being here tonight.
Yes, sir.
My man Jelly Roll got a birthday coming up, man. We finna kill that thing, man. You want to talk about something about that, man? You want to talk?
Yeah. November 21st. I'm the last day of Scorpio, so y'all come down and celebrate with me at TV Lounge. If it's just have a toast, but you make sure you're old enough.
Yeah.
Is that AD or BC?
Yeah, man. So we gonna go down there, man. We gonna hang out with Jelly, man. Bring it in, man. And right after the 21st, the real sign come in. Sagittarius, the king of it. You know what I'm saying? Half man, half beast. You understand? That's what's coming into play right after that, man. November 26th. Don't play games, bro. So thank you, Wayne Maiden, man, for coming out, man, and kicking it tonight. And of course, Mr. Thomas, CT3. Always love, baby. Valid points tonight. We are not giving up on our kids.
Absolutely not.
We are not. We refuse to. We're going to always close out with this: confidence replaces fear. Love.